Hey guys, we just got back from the theaters. Movie reviews for 2019. We's in the house.
Oh yeah.
Welcome, welcome. We're about to talk movies.
Yeah, this we started the year off with a bang, right? A real doozy.
In the shit month of January, a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, wait, is this a Lionsgate?
Shh. Oh, don't talk about it. We're gonna get copyright. We can't talk bad about it. No, actually, it's not.
Oh, okay.
So we can say whatever the hell we want.
We can just be honest about what
and not get claimed. You fucking assholes.
There's people right now clicking right now.
I actually hear that it's not Lionsgate. It might be run by Zephyr, and they have been assholes in the past, which totally makes sense. I got emailed by several people. They say they also run Universal, and you remember how bad Universal is too. That we're going after Chris Stuckman. Anyways, guys, this is not a Lionsgate film, but it is, in fact, pretty terrible. Replicas.
Horrible.
Skip it. You're not missing much.
Oh, man. And you know what? They're so right. I think it's a Red Letter Media that has noticed that in January, you just get a bunch of shit that's just jumped in there. It's like when you can't find a place to release it. And by the way, this one had the Christmas kind of stuff in it, so maybe it was meant for like weird. November or December, and they delayed it and dumped it into January, but it is awful. And why would I go and see this thing? Barely anybody knows about this film, right? Number one. Didn't really see many trailers.
And a sadist for making me go.
No, we all like to see you shit on everything. So, and all the creative ways that you could come up with it. But the reason why I went to go see it is because I got to support my boy, Keanu Reeves.
And I love him.
I love Keanu Reeves. One of the nicest guys around. You heard he's gave some of his profits from The Matrix to this.
Bought everyone Harleys. Like
a lot of people. And he's just really, really awesome.
But sometimes he makes bad movies.
But sometimes he makes some bad movies.
They all can't be winners, right?
I know. And this is one of them. So Replicas is a film in which basically his family is in an accident and they die. And he's a scientist that have been working on technology that's able to transfer consciousness.
And you got your basic tropes. This is my life's work, and he does something reckless, of course.
All the tropes are here, right? And essentially he needs to save his family, and he does a very desperate thing, and we go on this roller coaster ride with replicas of his family. How is it going to turn out? Well,
well, we just said skip it, so there you go.
It turns out very poorly. This movie is just, it's so weird. It's like I knew things were going bad when the company around this film was like, what was it?
Prestige Worldwide.
Yeah, it was something super generic. It was like Entertainment Studios
Yeah.
Motion Pictures. Prestige. Best Movies LLC. So I don't know who managed to put this together, but I will give it some extra points for being located in Puerto Rico, my island.
Was it shot on location?
You knew I was going to say that. I'm giving it an extra point for being in Puerto Rico. They even got the cookies, right? Did you hear the frogs going cookie in the background? That is Puerto Rico. I was like, I'm listening for it at night, and it's there. But that is the best part of the film.
It's the frogs.
It's the frog sounds in the background because the dialogue is awful. Just stilted.
Really bad.
It's like robotic, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And
like everything about this movie was below average. The acting, the plot, the twist, everything.
The other twist, the fact that this movie felt like it was 5 hours long.
Yeah.
I constantly was checking my watch.
That's what I was going to take some notes, and I just said, fuck it, I'm not going to take notes. I wrote down logic, way too long. Oh, and it felt like an entire season of a television show.
Like a bad
They packed
season.
an entire bad season into a single movie here.
Yeah, it was like, imagine all of the worst episodes of Black Mirror and The Twilight Zone smashed together, and you only get the bad parts. Okay. And that's what this felt like.
So, as it starts, it just goes way it loses you right away because of its leaps in logic. Obviously, there is it requires the audience to have some suspension of disbelief. They're driving
Not some, a massive amount of disbelief.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's the major problem with this film, is it just jumps in logic, and you just have to excuse all of it. But by the 30th minute of this ridiculous scenarios that keep coming up, that he essentially takes all of these equipment and technology in order to create this very complex process of creating, people and replicants. He does it from his fucking garage with car batteries.
He couldn't do it in years, but he did it in
17 days.
It's terrible. So we don't want to spoil too much. We'll have a very short spoiler section.
We should spoil this movie?
Okay,
I don't want anyone.
No,
to go
I'm gonna have a
see it.
spoiler section. Just gotta keep that format there. So if you want the movie spoiled, don't go see it. Wait until our spoiler section. So we'll cut through the bullshit. The acting is awful. We all know that Keanu Reeves, He's had some good roles, but you have to put him in a specific role where he excels. And this one requires lots of emotion. This one requires some nuances, and he just feels, cold, detached from it, doesn't really, resonate. So I thought the acting in it was terrible. Not only from Keanu, miscast, but from every single actress and actor. The main villain in this film, sort of the corporate asshole,
below average.
Awful. He just shows up and he just spouts.
It's so bad. He just does his one-liners or whatnot. His evil guy one-liners.
And you know he's truly evil because Keanu Reeves is in the bathroom and he's in one of the stalls and you see him sitting down and he's having a conversation that only a villain would do that.
Yeah, you don't talk to somebody when they're taking a shit. All right,
only
just
a bad guy.
Don't. This film, it's crazy. I just don't know why Keanu would accept this role, because the script is all over the place. I'm going to tell you right now, it is two wildly different movies in one, and the film does not know how to handle either of them. Yeah. So it fucks that up. But what I want to get to is in Keanu's real personal life, I believe that his wife actually died in a car crash, and I think that's led to some memes where he's like sitting on the bench and he's eating and it's sad, and people are feeling sad for him because I think his wife was with a child when they were in a crash, or some. I think he had a stillborn child or something. So it's very sad, and so I was like, do you think maybe he accepted this role because he could reach down into his personal life and get some emotion from there because his own family was sort of destroyed?
It could be. I mean, that part of the movie actually wasn't all that bad. Like him grieving over his family, and you buy his motivation to do all these crazy things. Yeah. But the problem is everything is so ham-fisted that like the scene before they're getting in the car and something happens, they get in the car and you hear thunderstorms before they're even in the car, right? Yeah. And it's not dark outside, and then it's like raining while it's on the road, and she calls him Ahab, and they do all of these things that's like, Are you in high school? Are you writing your first screenplay in high school? Like, that's how bad foreshadowing works.
Exactly. It felt like a young teenager had wrote the script who's wide-eyed and just wants to inject everything in it, and he wants to focus in the story because there are ways to do this. There are ways to have a desperate father who wants to keep his family together. They die, and you try to resurrect them through
it's been
science.
done so many times before.
Exactly. And you would think that they would have learned from previous films in order to make the scenario believable. That's the most important part, because if you lose the audience with all this shit and crazy contrivances and this and that, then the illusion is broken, and you are seeing the terrible acting. It's put out front and center, so that couldn't save the film.
How long into the movie did you just like, I'm done? I was like 20 minutes from.
I was just gonna say like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and we saw the twist coming. It was far before when I spoke to you and I said, "Here comes the twist."
Oh yeah,
and that twist comes and it turns into a completely different movie. So it starts off with this idea of what happens with replicants? What happens if you're a replica? Is the human soul something unique? Is that an ingredient in creating human beings that replicants can never have? And how would that play out? And would they become evil? Would they go crazy and rip their head off? Parts of the beginning of the movie has a robot in it, and it reminded me of RoboCop 2. You remember that part? And unfortunately,
I'm sorry, I did not. It reminded me. The graphics were like Lawnmower Man.
Yes, they were so bad.
Terrible, man.
Hey, Entertainment Worldwide or Entertainment Movie Specialist, whatever it was, did a fine job with their stop-motion robot.
I saw that. I almost started laughing.
Yeah, it was like it was as bad as stop-motion animation, only worse because it was in CGI. And I don't know if they were doing the herky-jerky movement because they were, it's a robot, so we got to make it look. It didn't look smooth. It looked fakey. The CGI in this film is terrible.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up, Joe. Yeah, but it reminded me of RoboCop 2 right there because it goes crazy and he tears himself apart. And then it's obviously this thing happens to his family. Now, how is that going to play out when he brings them back? Is it going to be like a horror film? And it plays with some of this.
But then all of a sudden, be a horror film so bad.
But then all of a sudden, it does a twist and it turns into a completely different fucking film. We'll talk about it in spoilers, but it doesn't resolve any of the interesting themes that are brought up in the original first half, and it does a very fucking poor job of the second half in its sort of action, thriller, intrigue, whatever it was going for. I have no idea.
I didn't know that was going to be the ending, so I guess it had me.
I was just glad it was over.
Yeah, we all were.
I just got tired of going like, oh my god, how has this movie only been on for an hour?
And it does have an ending just like Predators, right? Where it has the camera is slowly on the, and then it turns around and then it says something and whoa!
You basically roll
like,
your eyes to the back of your head.
Fucking serious. All right, guys. So, you know what? We're just going to cut this short, jump into spoilers, and start beating on this thing because you could save your money. Or if you really want to support Keanu Reeves,
watch him.
Is there another way? Is there another way? Because I totally would.
Okay, watch it ironically. Bring a bunch of friends.
Pre-order tickets for Bill and Ted's.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think it's in hiatus.
Watch John Wick 1 and 2 again because those movies are great. I love those movies.
It's Lionsgate.
Damn it.
You're lucky that
but
you
it's
sorry.
I'm
sorry.
That's the one thing I'll make an exception for. I'll make an exception for John Wick because it's Keanu. Anyways, all right, guys. So let's go to final verdicts. Who wants to start it?
I'll start it off. Okay, so the plot was below average. The acting, there was no acting. I don't know what that was. It was in the tragic moments.
Even from that lady. What was her
Alice
name?
Eve?
Oh, she is so beautiful.
Yeah,
and
that
I've
was my
seen
next
her
point.
act better.
That's the best part is whenever she's there. She's good eye candy.
Okay.
But the acting was terrible. The tragic events that happened, I didn't believe his performance. He was just like, whatever. He didn't care. Plot twist were crap. CGI, god awful. We're gonna give this a 4.
Okay.
Ooh, that's very generous. Of
Really
you.
fucking high.
That's really generous. I mean, I'm gonna go a little lower than that. I think the acting. I don't want to say the acting was bad. I think because I like the actors and actresses in this movie so much, other than the bad guy. Oh my God,
the acting was atrocious.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think what they were given was so bad that even someone like you put Willem Dafoe in this movie, and he couldn't have made anything better. And
the dialogue was really poor,
terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was so bored in this movie that there were times where I was like, oh, what could happen here? Could this be like a twist? Could this be the thing that happens at the end? And none of the interesting things like that I thought could happen.
We all had better ideas.
Oh yeah, during the movie we're just like, oh my God, will you please make this go
So that's the one good thing that you could say about the film is genuinely, while I was watching, I was like, where is this going to go?
Nowhere.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, no, it is a good thing to me because that means I'm invested, I'm entertained, and I want to see where it's going.
That means
but then where it went and where it had gone was awful.
So for me, if I'm thinking about where the movie should go, it means that I'm so bored and because I'm trapped because you won't let me leave that I'm just like, I'm a prisoner here and I have to entertain myself. I'm drawing like little hash marks to mark the days before I get to leave. This movie is bad and don't see it. This movie's like a 3 It's not a 2. It's not like it's not 1 where it's super horrible. Yeah. It's not a
Sherlock and Watson.
Oh, that movie's terrible.
I think we gave
Holmes and Watson.
Holmes and Watson.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This is a 3. Don't go see this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm a jerk, and I am a jerk, but like this movie's just bad.
Yeah. It is. It's a bad film, unfortunately. As much as I like Keanu Reeves, as much as I thought that the concept was interesting,
it would have made a great short, like y'all said.
22-minute
Short?
Twilight
No,
Zone?
I actually think that this would make a great television series or something that can be told in multiple stories where you have, oh, my God, the twist, and now we've got the corporation is in it, and then, and they explore the idea of consciousness.
No.
No, of course not.
Somebody
what I'm
else.
saying, in a completely different project, in a completely different context, and I'm sure they've actually done that before as well. Anyway, so it was not very good. I was going to be harsh on the film and then give it 1 point extra above these guys because it was in Puerto Rico. But Joe already went there, and there's no way I can go from a 4 to a 5 on it.
No.
So I'm going to give it a 3 and then bump that score because it's one of the only movies I've seen that centers on Puerto Rico and really puts in
really?
They had,
really bought into that it was at Puerto Rico?
Sure. I bought into it. You know what I think this film was? I think it was just everybody wanted to have a vacation in Puerto Rico. I'm serious. I'm fucking serious.
That's genius.
They're playing
I appreciate
bachata.
that.
They're playing all the Puerto Rican music in the background on the radio. Every time they go into the car, even though that family looks like they would not enjoy it.
I would be in that movie for a free vacation. It's like, we're going to be there for, what, 3 months?
I guarantee you that's what it was. It's a beautiful island. Anyways, so it gets a 4 out of 10 from me, but it really should be a 3 out of 10.
Generous 4.
Yeah, it should be a 3. But you know what? I'm feeling generous here at the beginning of the year. So don't go see this piece of crap, and we'll jump right into the spoilers at how it fucks up and the twist. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around. Trust me, you don't want to waste your money. All right. All right, welcome to the spoiler section. Thank you so much for watching it, and you made the right decision. You can take that $12 movie ticket, or let's see, $12.24 and fucking $36.
Well, he spent
$45
on popcorn and a soda.
Oh, I know. How much was that popcorn? $15. Anyway, so here's the twist. So at the beginning of the film, he's trying to inject wounded or recently dead soldiers into a robotic body. It keeps messing up. They go psycho and they beat themselves up until they die. And then his family gets into a car wreck. And it's not, and later on it's revealed that it was a legitimate car wreck. It was actually fake. I have no fucking idea how everybody in the car is dead except for him, even though nothing really happens, right? I hated it, but there are so many things that they could have done. They could have had him out of the car, and he gets the phone call that his family is the one that went in the car and they all died, but their brains are intact. And then the evil corporation is like, you could do it, and he's doing it on the side under the tables, but he's bringing all the equipment in. That way, all the equipment is already there.
You want to see that movie?
But no, they go with he's driving, a tree slams into his wife's neck.
She gets Final Destination through the sternum.
She gets Final Destination, but the three kids in the back are fine.
They drown.
But the fucking car lands in there.
It lands perfectly.
It lands perfectly to where they would drown. What, they can't take their fucking seatbelts off and get out of the car? No,
remember,
they're trapped in there.
Throw your logic out the door.
But there was nothing that hit them or knocked them unconscious. Anyway, it pissed me off. He pulls them from the car one at a time, lays them down while it's still raining, calls just an employee, I guess the smartest employee there that just so happens to be his family friend who's like an uncle, and he's like, you gotta do this. So they suck their information out of their fucking brains, and that's fine. That's fine that you put a little needle in your eye and you can get every single piece of information in 10 seconds.
You know how long it takes?
I can suspend that disbelief.
You know how long it takes me to download something from like Amazon Prime? It takes me like 30 minutes to download something at best quality.
Son.
You need a better internet.
Every every memory they've ever had in their brain, 10 seconds.
Yeah, and you can go in later on with a fucking Minority
There's a Google
Report
search bar in your brain that's like, oh, look up this person. Oh, you want to forget your dad? I'm gonna type in dad.
All you have to do is put on that Tron helmet,
and he can go in and delete memories because he's only able to have that uncle and his friend steal the Verizon wireless guy steal 3 pods.
Like him.
I know, I like him too, but he's all right in this film. So he steals 3 pods, not 4. So he randomly puts, his family names in the pot. And he draws his daughter, who is the youngest one, and he cries. And then he clones them in his garage with all the equipment. Does the fucking company not notice that their equipment is gone? Like, cloning vats, only the most important.
He goes to steal all of the equipment. Like, he goes to the most high-tech facility in all of Puerto Rico, and it's actually secret, run by this evil cabal.
Well, we learn that they're evil later on.
But that is what they are, right? Yeah. It's like this evil military complex, and there's like no guards, and he just walks in at 2 a.m. and steals millions of dollars worth of equipment.
They kind of said, they're like, we knew what you were doing. We just let you do it.
They knew later.
So I was like, okay, I'll believe it. Sure, why not? At this point, I'm fucking done with this movie.
Yeah. By this point, I was definitely checked out.
Yeah.
Like, nope, this is stupid.
He's like,
so
you think
anyway,
it was that easy?
They do all this stuff, but the reveal is so fucking lazy. The whole way there, it's lazy, and you're expected to do all this. And then when that reveal comes, you just don't buy it. It's just awful. And so, okay, fine, that evil guy let him. Yeah, fate actually killed your family, but you thought it was that easy. We let you do all this. But now I have 3, 4 problems. Well, what did you think he was going to do? And he wants to kill them. I guess he was using it as motivation in order to get him to figure out how to transfer consciousness into robots, which he did. And so he's like, give me the algorithm, kiss your family goodnight, fuck your wife, I'm going to kill them tomorrow, okay? And you give me the algorithm. And he's like, no, fuck you. And he's like, stabs him, knocks him out with
for an hour.
Guns.
He knocked those other guys out. Like, he knocked his family out for 72 hours with an injection.
Yes!
And now he injects the guy, and he's like, I'm out for 30 minutes because I'm a bad guy, and I'm immune to...
I was like, no way.
Yeah.
So but I forgot to mention that he also downloads himself in the toilet. And that's what you were saying when the bad guy was talking to him.
Supervillains are the only people that will talk to you while you're pooping.
And then I was reminded of Johnny Mnemonic. You remember Johnny Mnemonic? But anyway, this is Keanu Reeves. What the hell, Joe? Anyways, so then he's basically stuck because they know and they capture his family. He's like, he'll come to us. And it turns out who betrayed him, it was his friend, the uncle, that let him know. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I thought we were. I originally thought that he was going to be the main bad guy. He's like, I did all this. I even set your family up and all this shit, which would have been slightly better. But even better would have been the fact that the corporation was desperate and they were like, or just trying to manipulate him. And they set up his family and they set up the scenario, killed him off, forced him to make this solution, which that would have been perfect, and it would have been believable.
But that wasn't the lazy, stupid route. And they took the lazy, stupid route everywhere that they could.
Exactly.
This writer has done other things before, right?
Correct.
This guy was responsible for all of the dialogue in London Has Fallen.
And
not the action sequences, but the dialogue.
Yeah.
He wrote the dialogue.
Yeah, I like London Has Fallen's action, but what sucked about it was the dialogue. And same with Peppermint. It got a 12% rotten rating. London is like 26%, and this is
noticing a trend.
There you go. This is bad. So I don't know. That's basically the film where he goes and he literally creates clone in his garage with car batteries, which you just don't believe for a second. And then
but he clones himself. He puts his consciousness into a Terminator, and one thing that we're watching this movie for 10 minutes, where his first experiment, he tries to take this dead soldier's brain and plug it into a Terminator. This thing can break through the metal restraints. He punches people 30 feet away.
There's so much shit in here to get through because you're right. But there's no restraints on that first one. There's
no kill switch either. There's
right.
you know what? We're going to take this soldier. We don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to make him
a trained killer,
insanely strong and indestructible, and our kill switch isn't going to work. It's going to malfunction when we need to make him go away.
So he starts throwing scientists that get closer, and then eventually Keanu pulls his big ass fucking
He pulls
plug.
the Matrix scene where he walks behind and pulls the thing out of the back.
But that's not the end of that robot because because throughout the film, he's like, hey, you need to get that robot working or our funding is going to be cut. And so when he downloads his family, it's like, why doesn't he wait and figure out the algorithm so that he can use it later on? The excuse is that his boss is like, we're going to get cut. Our funding's going to get cut if you don't figure this out right now. So he's got to do all these things and revive and clone his family right away before the corporation figures out that he's using all the equipment to clone his family. So he does it, but the robot comes back because he downloads himself into the robot as a way to, like, look, don't kill my family, because it captures families. Please don't kill my family. The algorithm I destroyed in my microwave, I have it here, okay? And some of this stuff sounds great on paper, but in execution,
no.
Really
As you're repeating me, it's like, man, this sounds stupid, but you're describing it perfectly.
Okay. Yeah.
But it sounds really stupid as you're saying it.
And then he's like, all right. I'll do it now. I'll download my brain, and I'll show you that it works. I'm going to download myself into that Terminator that's ultra strong, and everything.
Guess what happens next?
And but he's restrained this time. So they download his body, and he makes two of himself. So he breaks out of the chair. He starts beating up the guards who shoot him with their fucking 9mm pistols, and he kicks everybody's ass.
In the middle of a firefight, like the wife, who's a clone, and him are like, let's go get the kids, and they kind of like walk out of the firefight, and no one thinks to like turn on them or stop them in any way.
They got a robot
it was the
in the room.
silliest scene I've ever seen, where like these inept guards are like, I'm gonna shoot this middleman, but I'm gonna let the real guy
So it turns into the most hilarious, shitty CGI version of Terminator you've ever seen. And what's even more funny is the name of the corporation is called Bio9, and I'm pretty sure they didn't want to be sued.
They didn't want to be
right?
Cyberdyne. Yeah.
Cyberdyne, and all you need to do is change that first N to a D, and it would have been Biodyne, right? So Hyperdyne, Cyberdyne, and I think there's a third one in RoboCop or something. So, but they didn't want to get sued, and I probably would have sued them, if I was the real owner of that, because I don't want to be associated in any way with your stupid replica film. So then he beats up the guy, and before he is basically, he leaves his robot to take care of business, and then he runs out with his family, and then he's like, and he had already previously told his wife, because his wife figured out that he was erasing memories from his daughter, who realized because there was a fourth family member. And so he tells his wife.
We forgot to – our brains forgot about Zoe too. So the stupidest part of this whole film is after his family dies, there's not enough clone tubes. And so he just chooses to not clone his youngest daughter.
Right.
And so he just –
I said that.
Well, yeah, we talked about how he deleted him. But then no one else in the whole film, like he sees all these people that he knows, like a teacher comes by and they're like, hey, where's your youngest daughter?
Right.
And then everyone in the family is just like, oh, we don't know who that is. But the rest of the world knows he has a daughter.
They still know. So even though he's deleting from his daughter, from his son, when his son goes to school, he's like, hey, man, how's your sister doing?
What sister?
She's doing fine. She's right there. Like, no, you're the sister. What sister? This picture that we took 2 days ago on my cell phone, this sister. Like, it is so fucking stupid.
I wanted that to be the twist, where he just forgets something simple like that. They walk outside and they're like, oh, where's your daughter? Then he goes to jail, and then the movie ends an hour earlier than it did, but it didn't.
But
it went on for 7 hours.
That's the logic in this film. And it could have been fixed with a simple script doctor. We should bring back that segment.
Yeah.
You had to change a lot. There's
a lot that needs
but
to be
you could
changed.
still get the same idea that this movie does. This evil corporation tricking him into making this logarithm so that they can create hackers and put the hackers in the actual virus. Or what was the other thing? Create soldiers.
Pilots.
And pilots. The best pilot will pilot every single, aircraft that we have when we fight enemies and shit. And so they're manipulating him to do that. And they kill his family.
I wanted it to be like a horror, like the Replicas.
You wanted what?
I wanted
it was a horror, Joe.
No, it wasn't. It was a horror to watch. It was horrible. No, no. So basically, I wanted them to start malfunctioning and start doing weird shit.
That was the cool.
Or just come back. Like, there's so many good movies
wrong.
where they come back wrong. Like, the ground is sour. And because we just saw the thing.
That was the first that we saw the Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, good. I really want that to happen when they come back without souls and they're evil and they do cool stuff. Nope, it was just lame.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the first half of the film. And it started to do a little bit. His wife, after waking up, is going on a run, and she goes, she looks kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And they kind of play with that.
Well, that's where she
but
got stabbed.
But they
by the
dropped
tree.
it all.
Yeah.
Right, but they drop it all, and they just, fuck. And then they go on this action film that is just awful. Just straight awful. And that's why it felt like there was like a whole season's worth of content that if you flesh that out and you flesh that out over 12 episodes, 20 episodes, it might have worked if you changed all the motivations and you changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He put a computer thing wrapped in foil in a microwave for 10 minutes, and with 2 minutes left, there was no smoke in that house.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you've ever been a delinquent and microwave something metal.
I mean,
but
that
like
looked like it was
I would get whooped.
a furnace. Yeah, I don't know if microwaves can hit that heavy-duty fucking chip thing. Anyway, way over the top leaps in logic where you just can't follow. Really poor acting. Side plots that go nowhere. A big twist and turn that turns it into a shit rip-off action film, and it really squanders the high concept of playing around with souls. Does that soul actually matter when in a human life? And this movie says, no, fuck it, souls don't know. Those copies are great. Look, his family's back. We get a fucking happy ending in this film. At the end, he goes, he's like, no, I gotta go back, and he goes back for the fourth vat. And then he brings the fourth vat, but before he leaves, he sees the robot beating the shit out of the bad guy. But then he's like, stop, that's enough. And he's like, they're going to come after you. And he's like, you know what? They don't have to. You can work with us, and I'll make you a rich man, says Keanu Reeves to the bad guy. And the bad guy goes, I'll see you soon. And he dies in blood, and I was like, holy shit.
That's the I'll see you in hell moment,
yeah,
right?
I'll see you in fucking hell, or he's going to come back as a clone from another facility and kill him.
Nope.
But no, it's revealed later on, so he gets the bat, and it's just 17 days later, because that's how long it makes to make a fully grown clone. He clones his daughter. He's got his daughter back. It's a happy family. Fuck their souls. Their souls are burning in hell or whatever. But he's happy and they're happy, right?
No.
But then it does one more scene, and it goes to the fucking boardroom or where there's an old guy, and he's got lots of money. And he's like, yeah, Mr. Moneybags, you made the right decision. And it's the evil guy. And then we're like, what? Why is he alive? And you go into the room, and there's the robot Keanu, who is still alive, and he's now apparently in charge of this evil corporation, even though they were trying to kill Bill and they were trying to be evil. He's like, we're going to make lots of... And he turns around and he says, start the logarithm
They're going to turn all of the evil old dudes into evil young dudes again. And
here's
it's gonna be
some of my
horrible.
nitpicks, all right?
Okay, where have you been the last 10 minutes?
And this robot is in a fucking suit, and it is the stupidest fucking ending you've ever seen. So it turns out I'll see you soon was like, yeah, I'll join you. But the line delivery was so bad that you thought it was bad.
I love that the robot was in a suit because they didn't have to CG the suit. Like they were CGing the robot walking around.
Was so bad.
It was terrible.
It was so bad.
Well, here are my nitpicks. Okay, what is it? PG-13, right? Okay.
Was it?
I think it was.
Doesn't matter.
This was this was a G.
Okay, so the guy was getting choked out. There's a pool of blood, and the guy got
Nah, it's tiny little.
Okay, well the guy got shot in the head. Where's that blood?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was no blood.
There was no blood.
He has no.
To get shot
That doesn't make sense.
They ran out of money.
Anyways, the other one was
the guy. You know, Joe, you gotta put him a little more context. The guy he's talking about is the Verizon guy that helped him. The main
not
bad
just
guy
the Verizon guy, the Vega in our favorite.
Yes. Oh, I fucking love Vega. Best role ever. Look up Street Fighter outtakes Vega.
That was a great one. Okay, it takes 17 days to clone. Yeah. It says 17 days later, he already has a business. He already has a client. How does that make sense? 17 days later, they would have.
The equipment's already there.
He's a robot.
He would have been pulled out and then made into I guess recuperating.
No, the second he pulled them out,
and he's already in Dubai.
Yes.
How?
I don't know.
They have a robot airplane.
Joe, it doesn't take 17 days to go to Dubai.
No, it takes 17 days.
That's this dumb nitpick because they could. All the equipment is already there, Joe, and they could have just set up in Dubai, and then once the old guy, once the evil man is ready, they clone him. They inject his memories in there, and now he is a servant to robot Keanu Reeves, and they take their first client, and it's just fucking stupid.
I've already seen the only robot Keanu Reeves movie I ever need to see in Bill and Ted 2. Like, this movie was unnecessary.
Yeah, there you go.
It wasn't.
Please, Keanu. Maybe you only did this movie so that you could get so that maybe you can have as a stepping stone to Bill and Ted 3. How does a fucking film like this get funded? And the movie studios, and I've read that he's having trouble getting that film funded, but yet a movie like this can get funded. God,
we should write a movie.
Yeah, or we should fucking help somebody.
Yeah, send us your script and we'll make fun of you. Yeah.
If you're releasing your movie in January, it has problems. Please, and that sucks because, Escape Room I heard was really fucking bad. That's why I didn't even bother with a movie review last week, guys. And then, but you know what sucks? Glass is in January, so we'll see if it's any good.
That's going to be the turning
point. All right. All right, guys, that's it for this one. It's getting too long. We're just shitting on this film. Don't fucking see it. It's awful. We told you though everything.
Skip it.
In this movie.
Skip it.
Watch it when it's on, I don't know, Netflix or something.
Do not watch it when it's on Netflix.
All right.
Yeah,
you
watch
can watch it.
The Great British Bake Off. That's a great series.
Or Nailed It.
All right.
Nailed
see you
It's
guys
great
on
too.
the next one. Subscribe. Hit the bell.
Buy the
notifications.
merch. You can get some really sweet shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for wearing that today. Hit that link.
It's
Support
nice.
us.
If only I had one of those. I should click on the link to go
We
buy
need to
one.
get him some stuff.
Yeah, and fuck you, Lionsgate, Universal, and Zephyr. All right.
Yeah.
See you on the next one. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.